Warning, this video contains spoilers for Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail, patch 7.3's main story quest. Welcome to my guide for the duty The Minstrel's Ballad Necron's Embrace, aka Necron Extreme. We will be facing off against the Grasping Eternity Necron. This guide has been written following the 8GK Uptime raid plan. For this fight, the only pre-prep you'll need are clock spots and colour partners. As this is a wall boss, melees can go up front, ranged at the back, and the off-tank should be at the east for melee uptime. Casters with melee needs like Summoner and Red Mage may prefer R1 in this fight for easier melee uptime in a few mechanics. The fight opens with Blue Shockwave, an extremely wide 2-hit Tankbuster which applies a Vuln. Tanks should take this at the far north corners of the arena to avoid healing the party. You can take these separately with Light Mitt by provoking during the cast bar, or you can use an invulnerability. After this, Necron casts Fear of Death, a recurring mechanic of the fight. It deals raid-wide damage and telegraphs small puddles on the floor, which you should move out of to avoid further damage and a Vuln up. Each of these puddles will spawn a set of hands, and each of these hands will quickly turn and cleave the nearest player. Being hit by more than one will kill you, so we have each player bait one outwards. Melees bait the front four, and ranged bait the back four, with a tank melee tank and ranged healer ranged order going left to right. As these baits are going out, Necron will begin casting Cold Grip, and one side of him will begin glowing with a shadowy essence. Cold Grip will hit both sides of the arena first, and then hit the middle of the arena and whichever side was glowing. So to dodge this, we move to the middle, and then to the area hit on the non-glowing side. Next, we get Memento Mori. Necron will begin to glow two different colours on either side, light and dark, before striking a line AoE through the middle of the arena. This line AoE leaves it behind a puddle which inflicts a heavy bleed if you walk into it, as well as hands which leave certain areas on either side unsafe. Because he finishes with spreads, we can't fit every player on one side. So how do we resolve this? First of all, the side he telegraphs with darkness will be the side with less safe spots. We have both healers dodge to the dark side, and the rest of the party dodging to the light side. Melees take their spreads as far north as they can, ranged take their spreads far south, and tanks take theirs somewhere in the middle that isn't being cleaved. Pay attention to the hands. Wherever you are, group 1 leans left and group 2 leans right. Wait for the Bleed Lord to disappear before returning to the middle. Solar Reaping comes after, and Necron will telegraph and stall with 4 possible AoE shapes: a line AoE, a sides AoE, a point blank AoE, and a donor AoE. You'll follow this up with either 2-fold blight or 4-fold blight, resolving the stored AoE shape as well as hitting you with either light party stacks in the case of 2-fold or partner stacks in the case of 4-fold. In particular, resolving partner stacks while dodging middle is quite tight, so keep an eye out. After this, Necron will cast another Soul Reaping, though this one will be held in reserve for a while longer. Before that, we get another Fear of Death, which will resolve exactly the same as the first. As the lines resolve, Necron casts the End's Embrace. Take these spread markers around your bait spot. These spreads spawn more hands which work much the same as Fear of Death. However, the hand baits created by these spreads work a little differently and need to be dodged after baiting them. This does make it less likely to deal friendly fire. As baited lines go off, Necron will telegraph a new Blue Shockwave Tankbuster. Like before, you can tank swap this or invuln it. Tanks should dodge to their corners while the party dodges middle to avoid the busters. Once everything fades, the boss will cast another 2-fold blight or 4-fold blight, finally casting the stored AoE from earlier. After the stacks resolve, the party should stack up middle to prepare for the next mechanic, Grand Cross. Grand Cross deals raid-wide damage and transforms the area into a smaller circle. Quickly orient yourself and identify your colour pattern locations while staying centre. 5 times over the duration of Grand Cross, the orb circling around the outside of the arena will pulse the line AoEs which inflict damage and a Vuln. Taking one of these immediately before a mechanic can kill a non-tank, so be careful. Shortly after Grand Cross begins, 2 sets of baited AoEs will appear beneath random players. Move out slightly after the first set, then dodge the second set. 4 towers will spawn on cardinals or intercardinals, and all of one roll, DPS or supports, will be given spread markers. The roll without spread markers must take towers at their colour partner side, while the roll with spreads must avoid hitting anyone else by sticking to their colour partner spot without a tower at it. Shortly after the towers and spreads resolve, a second set of spreads and towers will appear on the opposite rolls. Resolve it the same way. After the second tower's resolve, the party should gather in the middle for another set of 2 baits. Dodge towards an intercard or pausing to drop the second set of baits, then mid up to take the 2 proximity line hits. One last heavy raid wide ends Grand Cross. You'll have a short period of time to hit the boss freely, before the ads phase begins. Puddles similar to Fear of Death will appear, and the boss will become untargetable. Much like Fear of Death, being in these puddles and they spawn will do damage and a Vuln, so keep your feet clear. All the small icy hand adds will target players with avoidable line AoEs. The larger beckoning hands adds will perform line AoE tankbusters in the players with highest aggro, so tanks should make sure to grab aggro ASAP and aim them outside. Only 2 beckoning hand adds will spawn over the course of the phase. If the rising Fear of Death Gorge fills, the boss will enrage. Otherwise, once every had has been defeated, the boss will become briefly targetable and cast Darkness of Eternity, a strong raid-wide attack. 7 to 8 seconds after the cast bar finishes, the damage will apply and Necron will go untargetable. Do not send 2 minutes when they come up here, you'll lose most of their duration. 1 minute can be used here or on the following adds, but that's on a job-by-job basis. Briefly after becoming untargetable, Necron will move every party member into separate arenas. The mechanics differ slightly here by role, but the overarching goal is to defeat the 1 or 2 adds you're given, before they or your Doom debuff kill you. Once your adds are defeated, take the glowing pad to climb up a few platforms and exit the abyss. It takes around 9 to 10 seconds to take the jumps up, so you'll need about that much leeway on your Doom timers by the time the ad is dead. If you have weakness or are progging, consider sending 2 minutes just to play it safe. Tanks will be presented with a single ad which will prepare a Spreading Fear cast. Interrupt it. After this, the ad will spam telegraph tankbusters until you or it die. Healers will be presented with a single ad which will immediately apply a fairly damaging dot effect. Soon after, another attack will inflict you with a slow effect which must be cleansed with a sooner. Healers must ensure that they stay healthy to survive the rest of their ad's attacks, along with the dot, and kill them quickly. DPS will be presented with 2 adds which will attack with line AoEs, before attempting to enrage. Burn them down. After exiting the abyss, the boss will be untargetable until all players exit and/or die. Once the fight resumes, Necron will cast Specter of Death, creating large hands on the east and west sides of the arena, one at the back row and one alongside either the first or second rows. These hands cast large line AoEs which cover about a third of the arena, leaving a single lane free. Note if you're hit by one of the AoEs from these large hands, now or when they reappear later, you'll be dragged off the arena and forced to repeat the ad's fight. At the same time as the Spectre of Death AoEs resolve, the boss will cast another The End's Embrace, telegraphing spread markers and dropping baited hands on the party. We resolve this by spreading within the safe lane, using our same tank melee tank and range healer range spreads as earlier, and baiting the line cleaves north and south. As the lines appear, the boss casts Cold Grip, so dodge to the middle while avoiding the baited lines and then dodge into whichever side wasn't glowing. Now, Necron will use an enhanced version of Soul Reaping from earlier, Relentless Reaping. This mechanic stores all 4 possible AoE shapes in a random order. Then, crop rotation will randomize the starting point of these stored mechanics. For example, if the boss stores a middle safe, in safe, out safe, side safe, and then crop rotation displays a free, then the mechanics will execute as out safe, side safe, middle safe, in safe. These mechanics are set off by the 2nd season or the 4th season, additionally applying the same light party or partner sex as earlier with the final mechanic executed. As before, the 2 mechanic, 2nd season, is light parties, and the 4 mechanic, 4th season, is partner stacks. After a few seconds of pause, the boss will cast his next mechanic, Circle of Lives. This spawns 5 regulator-shaped orbs at each corner and the middle of the arena. One at a time, these orbs will activate and then begin shrinking, resolving with a small donut AoE once they're complete. As the first donut resolves, the boss will cast a Spectre of Death and create a large hand to hit any one lane of the arena. This hand will resolve somewhere between the 2nd and 3rd donuts, so either dodge quickly outwards if it's covering the 2nd donut, or dodge in after it resolves if it's covering the 3rd donut. Additionally, as the 3rd donut resolves, the boss will sneak in a Soul Reaping, so take note of the shape stored while dodging. After Circle of Lives is finished, the bosses will cast 2-fold Blight or 4-fold Blight, using the mechanic stored in the middle of Circle of Lives. Finally, we reach the last major mechanic of the fight, Macabre. This cast creates 10 floor pads around the arena, which you may have seen in the Great Google Library or Occult Crescent or similar areas. Each of these pads must be soaked by a certain number of players, and if any pad has not been soaked by the end of the mechanic, it will spawn an ad which enrages and wipes the group. Of these 10 pads, 2 require 4 players and 4 each require 3 and 2 players. Taking a pad gives you a magic vault, preventing you from taking pads too quickly. After casting Macabre, the boss will additionally cast a Memento Mori with the same line AoE through the middle and follow up hand cleaves as before. Lastly, before the time of the pads is up, the boss will also cast a blue Shockwave Tankbuster. So, how do we resolve all of this? We'll be using an uptime strategy which allows every melee, and potentially red mage and summoner, to keep melee uptime. Don't worry, it's not any riskier than normal. The party pre-positions for the 2 4-player pads, with all melees taking the northern pad and all range taking the southern pad. The main tank should ensure they have aggro prior to the mechanic. The main tank, Fizz range, and both healers will dodge to the western side of the arena, and the off tank, caster, and both melee will dodge to the eastern side of the arena. Wait for the vuln to wear off, then the main tank, Fizz range, and melees take the northern 2-player pads, and the healers, off tank, and caster take the southern 2-player pads. After this, dodge into the safe spot created by the Memento Mori hands. Then, the Tankbuster markers will appear, and both tanks move to their Tankbuster corners. The melees and caster move to their northern 3-player pad, and the Fizz range and healers move to their southern 3-player pad, being careful to stay outside of the Tankbuster. The F-tank will then provoke for the Buster follow-up. Once the bleed fall left Memento Mori has faded, all non-tanks sprint across where it was to the 3-player pad opposite them, with the healers in range being careful not to step too far into it at risk of Tankbuster. In case someone is slow, the main tank can also step into the melee pad that's now next to them. With this, all the pads have been dealt. If you resolve Macabre successfully, congratulations. I play as much comfier from here on out. After the second hit of the Tankbuster resolves, the boss will cast Cold Grip, which can be resolved as normal. Then comes another use of Relentless Reaping in either second or fourth season. Finally, a repeat of Fear of Death. Once that's over, Necron will cast his final new mechanic, a variation on Circle of Lives. This one creates 4 orbs in each corner. He then prepares a Specter of Death, creating hands covering 1 or 2 different lanes. You may dodge into the first donut AoE freely, the line AoE will then resolve the second donut covering the front or back half. A second Specter of Death cast will cover whichever lanes weren't hit before, which resolves with the 4th donut. In essence, you dodge into the first donut, dodge into 1/2 of the second, dodge into the third, and then dodge into 1/2 of the 4th. Once this is done, the boss will cast a repeat of Memento Mori, then a repeat of Cold Grip, and then it will finally repeat the entirety of Grand Cross. Finally, once all of that is over, the boss will cast its Enrage. If you've made it this far, congrats on your soon-to-be clear. Necron EX is a fun fight, and not terribly strict. Some of PF is trying to use Sank Droughts on Macabre, but hopefully this guide has shown that it's not terribly necessary. This is my first attempt at a guide like this, so like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Besides this, I have streams on Wednesday and Sunday nights, occasionally including 14. Good luck and have fun.